What up, gamers? This is my fourth time recording this video, so let's just go ahead and start it off. I'm not going to do any gameplay in the background because I don't want to have to listen to ads and have to stop and just watch the ads with you. I'm going to make a video about the NFL and just sort of talk about how I expect things to go for each team. And this is my fourth time going with it, so fourth time's the charm, I guess. Anyway, let's start off with the AFC East. At the bottom of the AFC East with 4 to 5 wins is the Jets. Zach Wilson, certified MILF Hunter, will probably have a better season, although he's not going to be as good as Jets fan want him to be. They have a very good offense, but their defense, despite being led by a defensive guru, will probably suck, and they'll probably get a new head coach next year. But things are turning up. They had a very good draft and got 3 of the best players, even if they should have taken Jameson Williams instead of the wide receiver that they took, but that's just me. The next up, my controversial pick of the video, Miami with 9 wins. This is because I don't think their head coach is very good, and I really don't think they're going to do well without Brian Flores. Because with Brian Flores would have been perfect because he is a good defensive mind, and he would have had an offense so good that he couldn't fail with it. Now you're just going to have a basic head coach with a very good offense, and well, actually not really, with an offense that is okay, but a defense that might suck without a good defensive mind behind it. I don't see. I mean, Tyreek Hill's good, but is Tua turn the ball over? Gonna stop turning the ball over? I don't know. I have hope. They could even win the division if Josh Allen gets hurt. That's just me though. Next up, with 9 to 10 wins, is New England Patriots. New England Patriots. What the fuck are they doing? They don't have an offensive and defensive coordinator. They're letting Matt Patricia choose plays, which is disgusting and will probably ruin. There's a very good chance that they're going to ruin Mac Jones' development, even though he looks like he'll be a very promising QB. I really hope that if you're a Patriots fan, you might want Bill Belichick to have a heart attack or something like that, just because they really need better drafting than what he's doing, even if he does draft well somehow, and he's always had a good team, but, like, wow, you have not had a good first-round pick in a while. Good luck, boys. Hopefully Stephon Gilmore can, like, pick some people off or something, I don't know. Mac Jones will definitely carry this team along with Bill Belichick, along with their pretty good secondary. And they actually have a good tight end, too. All right, anyway, next up. The winner of the division and probably the entire conference is the Buffalo Bills. Let me get. I'm just gonna say probably 12 to 13 wins. They're inconsistent, so they're gonna lose some games, and there's a very good chance that they'll lose a game in their division. But I mean, they're a very good team. They got better this year somehow. But in about 2 years' time, they have about a 2-year window before cap hell comes for them, and it's Buffalo, and so they don't have that much money. So in reality, they really can't cheat the salary cap that much. They probably get the first seed. And I think New England or Miami could get a wild card berth. The only one that won't go to the next division, the AFC West. Now the AFC West is a very stacked division, and so literally anyone could win this. Anyone could go at the bottom. But anyway, for the bottom, I'm going to say the Broncos. The Broncos team is super overrated. They have one good running back and a good wide receiver and some okay cornerbacks. Patrick Surtain will be really great, but this is only his second season. I think they lost one. But, I mean, the ones that around Patrick Surtain aren't, like, superstars by any means, and their secondary and their pass rush is really not good. So their defense, their heralded defense, isn't really that good. But they got Russell Wilson with one weapon, even though Russell Wilson has always been his one-man thing and hasn't been good in, like, 3 years. He's never won anything, and the thing is, teams know how to deal with Russell Wilson. He's a very predictable quarterback. He's going to run a lot, and he's going to roll out from the pocket and throw a deep ball. You just have to cover people always. You just do man coverage. Like, legitimately, you could play cover 2 man and probably take out most of Russell Wilson's plays because he's now your offensive coordinator. Yeah, and he's not that much of an upgrade. Seahawks definitely won that trade. Anyway, next up, I would have to say the Raiders. Now, they could definitely beat the Chiefs, because they have such a great offense and such a great defense, but they don't have many young players, and this is really their last. If they're gonna make a Super Bowl, it's gonna be this year, or next year. They've whiffed on so many first round picks, it's disgusting. There was a 2 year stretch, I think, 2 and 3 years ago, where they had 5 first round picks. None of them are on the team right now. You can't win while doing that, but they have such a good offense with Derek Carr, who's a pretty good quarterback. Won't win you any games, won't lose you any games. But they could definitely get a good amount of wins. I think. Oh yeah, by the way, Russell Wilson's will get like 10, but they would lose any tiebreaker because of the amount of win percentage against conference. I think Raiders get 11. I think Chiefs also get 11. The Chiefs are very good. They're gonna have Patrick Mahomes. Now, granted, this is the year. If Patrick Mahomes is a Pro Bowler and does very well, then he will forever be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. If he sucks this year, he is in the Hall of Fame. I'm just gonna say that. He's had great weapons and a great system around him. Even if Andy Reid kind of sucks as a coach, low key. But yeah, this is his year. He has a declining old tight end who's still very good, and a mishmash of weapons. Sky Moore, who was probably the best second rounder. Juju, who's really good, and they have another one who's he's okay, and the O-line's pretty good, even if it is old. Cap hell will come for you, and your defense will be horrible, even if you did put a bunch of draft stock into it, because rookies aren't going to do that good, especially in the cornerback position. But I mean, hey, as long as you only have 2 superstars, you're never going to make any, whereas the Chiefs will unfortunately deal with. Because why would you sign someone 10 years, $50 million per year? You could get hurt and suck. You all realize that. Anyway, for the winners with 12 wins, and they only have 12 wins because of how hard the conference is the Chargers. The Chargers are such an incredible team. I legitimately think, my hot take is that their quarterback Justin Herbert might be just as good as Patrick Mahomes. Maybe not quite as good, but he's up there. He's a really great quarterback, and he has so many good wide receivers. Keenan Allen is amazing. I don't know his tight end. The only question on his offense is tight end. He has such a good offensive line. He has a really good running back tandem. He has 2 really good wide receivers. I think his slot guy's pretty good, but I don't know his tight end and his defense. Oh my God, Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, bro, that pass rush, it's so good. The only thing holding them back and that could possibly make them lose is their head coach. But I believe in their head coach. Anyway, off to the most interesting division, the AFC South. And I'm going to do these in pairs, all right? And pair 1 is the Texans and the Jaguars. Now, the Texans and Jags are essentially the same team. They're both crappy teams that have never really been that good. They're both newer expansion teams. Well, like 2000s. I think Texans were like 98 or something. Well, actually, no, Texans were earlier. Jacksonville was like 97. Who have recently had a head coach that absolutely screwed them and don't really have any talent. Now, I think the Texans, I don't know their head coach. I don't think he's that good. Texans will get like 4 wins because they'll get 4 wins no matter what somehow. Everyone's been saying they'll get 3 wins for like 2 years now, and they're going to get 4. They're going to upset like Tennessee or Indiana or something. They have 1 good right tackle and a quarterback who will probably be a journeyman after his rookie year. Or, I mean, after his rookie contract, It sucks for them. Jacksonville completely depends on Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Trevor Lawrence threw for a lot of yards, but he may suck. He may also not suck, but they also overpaid for many, many wide receivers. And now, like, Christian Kirk's okay, but he's not a number 1 guy. I say they get either 4 to 6 wins. I think their ceiling is like 6 wins. And, I mean, I think their first-round draft pick isn't going to amount to anything. And they have a running back, a first-round pick running back who destroyed his ACL or something. Good job picking him, by the way, guys. I really hope that made Trevor Lawrence very happy. And the next tandem is Tennessee and Indiana. Now, I say this is a tandem because one of these teams is going to get 9 wins and one of them is going to get 10 wins. And for the life of me, I can't understand. I couldn't tell you which one. Like, let's like look at it. So Indiana has a very good running. They both have very good running backs. Tennessee's wide receiver room, even without AJ Brown, is better than Indiana's, which is just shows you how bad Indiana's is. And quarterbacks, whew, I couldn't tell you. Ryan Tannehill and Matt Ryan. Yeah. I mean, dude, I love Matt Ryan, but Ryan Tannehill might be better. Ryan Tannehill had a horrible playoffs, but he was still good during the regular season. But, you know, like, I mean, the Colts O-line, oh my God, it's so great. And the Tennessee's defense is really good, too. So, I mean, they're really underrated. I think Tennessee wins the division, but I could not tell you. I wouldn't bet any money on it. Anyway, to the shit show, AFC North. At the bottom will be the Browns, because the Browns are going to have to start Jacoby Brissett for at least half the season, which means that they have punted the season away. You all had to get rid of a very solid, probably 20th best quarterback in the league, who could have been better. You had to trade him away because you made him mad, and you had to give a sex offender $230 million guaranteed. Trade away like 3 first-round picks for that. Good job, by the way. He's gonna be suspended, so they're not gonna do anything. Let's be real here. Even if he wasn't suspended, they may not even win the division. Sorry, I nearly threw up my mouth a little bit. Holy shit. But anyway, I mean, their defense is pretty good, but their offense, their O-line, Nick Chubb's really good, and their backup is basically should be a starter. Amari Cooper's really good, but past that, they don't really have much. I don't really know their tight end, but I think he's okay. You know, they're going to get like 7 wins. They're kind of screwed next year. If Deshaun Watson, you know, he might suck now, by the way. That's what people don't realize, but he'll be all right. Okay, I probably need to go a little faster. Yeah, so next up is the Steelers. They're going to get like 8 to 9 wins. They have such a good coach and such a good defense that they'll be able to win some games. They should have a good quarterback now, Kenny Pickett, so their offense should be a lot better. And even though they have their division is very tough and their schedule is very tough, they should be able to get off some tough wins and should be able to beat the Browns both times and maybe even beat the Ravens both times. But I would doubt. I think they'd probably split with Ravens. Next up is Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I know people would say they're going to win, but I don't think they're going to win the division. I think they have 10 wins. I think they repeat their record, but here's the problem. They're not going to be able to feast on the easy wins of their division because the Browns have always been able to beat them, you know, except when the Browns are just, oh God, horrible, but they're not oh God horrible right now. And I mean, but they have a good O-line. No, their O-line still isn't that good. It's like 70 overall. Like if it was in Madden, they'd all be like 70 overall. And when you're going against Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, but the 2 top-rated and 2 best edge rushers, except for maybe Aaron Donald, in the entire league, that's not going to cut it. Especially if you want to go to, like, because think about it. If you go to the AFC Championship, you're going to get the Bills, who have Von Miller, who will destroy you. And also, there's a very high chance that Joe Burrow is going to get hurt again, and your defense isn't that good. Especially since you refuse to pay Jesse Bates because, oh my God, he had one bad year. The Cincinnati Bengals fans are slowly becoming like Steelers fans, and I hate it. And the winners with, I'd say 11 to 12 wins is the Ravens. The Ravens, their wide receiver core is so horrible. That's the only reason. They have a great defense. They have a great offensive line. They have third best probably tight end in the game and a pretty good quarterback and a good running game. But their wide receivers are so horrible, and they're nothing super dominant. So I think that's why I think they're not going to get like the top seed in the conference. Anyway, that was the AFC. That took a long time. Okay. Now let's go to the NFC. Let's start off with the NFC East. So bottom of the NFC East is the Giants. They have a very good offensive lineman now, and Kayvon Thibodeaux, who might suck and might be really, really good. But as long as they have Daniel Jones, they're never going to win anything except for maybe against like the Redskins the Commanders. They are screwed with 4 wins probably again, and they also don't really have a good coach. Next up, the Redskins. The Redskins have the Commanders, the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders have Ron Rivera, who is a sneaky, really good head coach who's just never been on great teams except for the He was on the Panthers team when they were good. But yeah, I mean they have a really good defense, and Carson Wentz is better than people give him credit for, and he should be good with Terry McLaurin. So I think those together they'll be able to piece together 6 or 7 wins. Hopefully, their owner gets shot or something so they can have hope again. They also have a pretty good offensive line if they lost their guard. Then next up, we're gonna have to do another. We're gonna have to do another mixed one. One of these teams is gonna get 9 to 10 wins. The other one is gonna get 10 to 11, and that is the Eagles and the Cowboys. The Eagles have a really good young head coach. They have a really good defensive line, and their cornerback will always be good as long as they have big plays to lay. I don't really know about their safeties. But they have a pretty good O-line. They have one good wide receiver now, and the other ones are pretty good, but not, great. They have a pretty good tight end, and Dallas Goedert, So they'll be really good. They'll be a pretty high-flying offense, even if Jalen Hurts may not be the long-term answer. Dallas has lost a lot, but CeeDee Lamb is a very underrated wide receiver. They have a really good tight end, and they have a very, very good defense with arguably already a top 10 defensive player in his second year. God, Micah Parsons is horrifyingly wow. I would actually favor the Eagles to win, but never count Dallas out, even if Mike McCarthy sucks. But Dak is a better quarterback too. That's another thing to know. All right, anyway. NFC West. So the NFC West is at the bottom with probably 4 to 5 wins will be the Seahawks. Drew Lock is not a good. Drew Lock is not a very good quarterback. He's not horrible, and with his O-line, he'll be scrambling, which is actually a strong suit. He has an okay wide receiver core, and the defense will be good enough and the head coach, Pete Carroll, is good enough. They'll get some wins off, but it's not going to be a very good season. So then next up is the Cardinals. The Cardinals screwed themselves. They traded a guy who's 2 inches taller than me and much smaller than most of my friends. He's 5'2" and gets hurt. He has never played a full season, by the way. They paid him $230. They're paying him like $40 million a year, which is not a very good idea. Everyone there is super old. This is really their last window of competing, because after this, DeAndre Hopkins is a big question mark because he got busted for PEDs and will be suspended. And now he might suck. I think they get 8 wins. That's about it. Maybe 9, but I would doubt it. Yeah, and Kyle Murray isn't that good, and their defense is meh. J.J. Watt fell off a cliff. Sucks to suck. I feel bad for him. He has been on horrible teams his entire life. Anyway, next up with 10 to 11 wins and a wild card spot is 49ers. The 49ers have a great defense and an amazing offensive line. In my opinion, the best tight end in the game and a very good receiving core, but they are in quarterback hell. Jimmy Garoppolo you will probably never win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. He'll take you to an NFC championship, but you probably won't win one anymore either. He's a very good quarterback who's really good on third downs, because Jimmy Garoppolo, the thing about him is he doesn't change under pressure. It could be like the winning, unless it's in the Super Bowl, but if it's like winning drive for an NFC championship, he'll play like it's opening kickoff, He's really good. And Trey Lance, I think the 49ers think that Trey Lance sucks, and so that's why they're not starting him. So yeah, they might actually do badly because of that quarterback hell that they're in. And Trey Lance might suck. That's just me though. And with the winner with 12 wins, possibly the number 1 seed will be the Rams. They're a super good team. They arguably got better with Bobby Wagner. Well, basically, instead of Odell and Robert Woods, you got Allen Robinson, who's probably better than Robert Woods. They might. I think they're gonna re-sign Odell. I think that's what happens unless Odell retires, which I would doubt. And I'm retarded. Wait. Give me one. And Bobby Wagner is probably better to have than Von Miller. It's arguable. They're both very good, but very old. It's a great team and has a great quarterback and a great receiving core. It does have a very its offensive line isn't too good though. Anyway, to the NFC South with 3 to 4 wins, the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons might get are probably my second favorite to get the #1 overall pick. They're doing what they always do and focusing on an offense. So they have one of the best tight ends, and probably one of the best wide receivers in Drake London. Even though Calvin Ridley might be good when he comes back in 2 years or something, I don't know. Their O-line's horrible. Their defense has literally one good player, but their offense should be so good that they'll be able to win a few games. They'll probably get an upset or something and probably beat the Panthers. Anyway, next up with 5 to 6 wins is the Panthers. Baker Mayfield is a pretty good quarterback. Then again, I did recently see that in their first practice he threw a pick. Nice. But he's pretty good, and that should be able to unlock DJ Moore and their other wide receiver. I don't think their tight end's any good. Their O-line, I think it's underrated, but it still isn't good. And their defense is it's not. Their defense ain't too great, but now since they shouldn't be able to give Christian McCaffrey more touches than Barry Sanders got, he might be able to not get hurt, That's just my opinion, I guess. Wait, next up is the Bucks. Now you may say, "Oh my God, the Bucks don't win." Oh yeah, the Bucks get 10 wins. Now granted, here's why I don't think so. Their tight end, they have a second-round pick. He probably won't be that good. Their O-line didn't look good in the playoffs. Their O-line didn't look too good, and they had. Everyone's getting old. This is probably, look, Tom Brady's close to retirement. This is his last year in the league, okay? Gronk retired. Mike Evans has been declining a lot recently. They lost Antonio Brown. They might still have their slot who's really good. They have Julio Jones now, but Julio Jones it's not like he's going to do good. Yeah, his injuries have hobbled him, and when you play an entire season and you get 300 yards, that's not like a quarterback problem. That's a you problem. Like, if you weren't hurt at all because he wasn't hurt, so maybe like 2 games, that's a you problem. Julio Jones has fallen off the map, and this will probably be his last year in the NFL, which sucks because he was a really good wide receiver. Their defense sucks. Their best player on defense was Ndamukong Suh, and Ndamukong Suh probably will retire or leave. If he goes to free agency, I hope the Lions re-sign him, but that's just me. Vita Vea, their D tackle, which everyone acts as a superstar, will never be as good as Prime Ndamukong Suh. Is honestly one of the most overrated players in the league right now, and they have no secondary, and they really don't have any cornerbacks. The Bucks kind of suck, but have such a good offense that it covers it up. Oh yeah, their head coach sucks and is a defensive-minded head coach, and those never work out. Anyway, for the winner of the division with 11 to 12 wins, I think is New Orleans Saints. Now, there's one problem. They lost Sean Payton. And losing Sean Payton is a great offensive mind and a very good head coach. That might screw them, but they might be able to deal with it. I think they got someone from within. I think they got their offensive coordinator or something, which is very good. It's always what you should do. And, I mean, most people that come out from the Sean Payton tree are usually pretty good. They have a very good offense. They'll get Mike Thomas back. Chris Olave should be pretty good. And Devonta Harris, Harris is okay. They have Toutman's underrated as a tight end. He's a pretty good tight end. And they have a great defense now with the Honey Badger, the best safety in the league. I think they're Super Bowl contenders, and they're really good. Anyway, off to the last division we're going to be doing, NFC North. Now, my front runner for the first overall pick this year is going to be the Bears. Now, some people are like, oh, the Bears are going to get 5 to 7 wins. No, they're not. They lost their 3 best players, okay? They didn't get anyone in free agents. They literally got no one. Okay, wait. They got Amon-Ra St. Brown's older brother, who in 3 years in the league has gotten less yards than his younger brother, okay? He's going to be their wideout one. They have a good running back, and that's literally it. And their secondary running back got arrested. Nice. Justin Fields looked like he won't be anything. He had one good game where he rushed for 100 yards and had a passer rating under 100. So nice. They lost their Pro Bowl D tackle. They lost Khalil Mack, who's one of the better linebackers. And they lost Allen Robinson, their one good offensive player. And they have a horrible O-line against a conference that has very good edge rushers in two of the three teams. And don't have really any safeties or any firepower against mostly offensive-minded places. They're not going to win anything. I think they're going to get the first overall pick. And I hope they spend on something that isn't a quarterback, in case the Lions need a quarterback. All right, anyway, next up with like 7 to 8 wins, this is my controversial pick, the Vikings. Now, the media loves the Vikings and think they're going to get like 12 wins. But if you've ever talked to anyone who's a fan of the Vikings, no one believes in them. No one's gotten hurt recently, which means that probably someone will get hurt this year. They're really based off an offensive trio of Kirk Cousins, the most boring quarterback in the league, Justin Jefferson, who is amazing, and I think if someone will legitimately beat Calvin Johnson's record for most receiving yards in a year, it'll be him. I mean, in like a 16-game span. And Dalvin Cook, but Dalvin Cook isn't a young pup, and he might start declining. And people are like, oh, but their defense has been underachieving. No. Their defense has been like this for like 4 years. It's not underachieving if it's been going on for 4 years. It just means it sucks. It's like the Minnesota Vikings are the most mediocre, crappy team, and they're going to straddle 500 like they always do because they have Kirk Cousins, and that's just what Kirk Cousins does. So then the tandem of who wins this horrible division, I think it's going to be one team's going to get 9 wins, one team's going to get 10 wins once again, or maybe both teams get 10 wins, and it's going to be Packers and Lions. Now let's go for each. So the Lions have a lot of question marks, and not bad ones like, oh, is our quarterback going to be there? We have a pretty good quarterback, Jared Goff, who kind of sucks, but he has an arm on him. He's got a good arm. He's low-key really good at not like scrambling, but like not getting tackled. He's very good. He has that sort of sixth sense to him. The only problem is that he's very reliant on his reads, but he has so many weapons. He has probably the 5th best tight end, if not the 6th, and it's a tie. 3 very good receivers. The number 1 wide receiver in Alabama, who got hurt during the national championship, but might very well have been. If he was there, they might have won the national championship. He's an absolute speedster. He's amazing. DJ Chark, who's a Pro Bowler. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's the 2nd best wide receiver in an absolutely stacked wide receiver class. Plus some good backups like Cephas, who's really good, and Raymond, who's meh. A bunch of, nothing horrible. Backup type, the O-line is amazing. The running game is really good. DeAndre Swift super underrated, and our secondary is a very good power back, but the defense is the big question. Tracy Walker is okay. Our safeties will be okay. Kirby Joseph will help with that and hopefully make him better. Our middle linebackers are kind of the ugly part. Our cornerbacks is a big question. Jeff Okudah. If Jeff Okudah can get that swagger back from Clemson or wherever he was, we will be set. Okay, because we got Mike Hughes and we have easily the most underrated player in the league. Our cornerback, Armazurier. I don't know how to say his name. He led up the third worst passer rating against him. So like, only Jalen Ramsey and Jair Alexander were better in passer rating allowed. He did give up a few big gains, but he was really good, and he had a bunch of interceptions. He's really good. Cornerback. And our pass rush should be okay now with probably moving John Pascal. Well, he did get hurt, but he might be back for the season. If you think he'll miss a little bit of time, he might turn into a D-tackle. And with Aiden Hutchinson, who will easily be the best player of this draft on them, will be a good edge rusher. Will make it a lot easier for the cornerbacks. So I think I would favor the Lions to win, but you can never count the Packers out. The Packers have a very good defense in an offensive driven league. Good job, guys. But their offense isn't too good. David Bakhtiari may never come back, which is very, very sad. Their O-line is meh. It'll give up some sacks, but you'll never get a bad game from them. Their tight end is about if you combine every tight end in the league today, you'd probably get the Packers tight end. Yeah, they have no wide receivers. The problem is that is Aaron Rodgers is not that great of a quarterback. He's never won anything except with literally a super team. Like, it would be considered a super team if they traded for one of those players. It was one of the best teams ever. It'd be hard not to win with that. And there have been teams that are just as good as that. Take, for example, last year or the year before that where he didn't win. He's a playoff joker. And he's getting $15 million a year, which is retarded. And I really don't think he has any heart in him. And that's the problem. They have no wide receivers. They will have absolutely no offense. Yeah, they have two good running. They have two good running backs, but I mean, but once again, it's a pass-happy league, and the main problem is going to be the Lions, and the Lions have a very good front set. We'll have a okay front seven, So that'll be an interesting battle, and that's just what I think. And I kind of want to end it here because my throat actually hurts from how much I've talked. So see y'all later.